Have you ever wondered how a collection of sparsely populated colonies, ignored and underestimated by the world's great empires, became the richest and most powerful nation in human history? How did a stretch of land on the edge of the known world transform into a global superpower? Well, buckle up, because this is the entire story of the rise of America, told in just a few minutes. Instead, he landed in the Caribbean. But his mistake kicked off a frenzy. Suddenly, the great powers of Europe, Spain, France, England, and Portugal, were all racing to claim a piece of this new world. Spain grabbed the south, France took the north, Portugal claimed Brazil, and England settled for a narrow strip along the eastern coast. Looking at the map back then, no one would have ever guessed that this tiny cluster of English colonies would one day dominate them all. But then, a global conflict changed everything. The French and Indian War. Britain fought France for control of North America, and Britain won. But victory came at a massive cost. To pay off its war debts, the British government decided to tax its American colonies. The colonists, who had no representation in Parliament, were furious. No taxation without representation became their rallying cry. This tension exploded into the American Revolution. It was a war Britain should have easily won. They had the world's most powerful army and navy. But the colonists had something more, a cause they were willing to die for. Against all odds, they won. In 1783, a new nation was born, the United States of America. But winning the war was the easy part. Building a country was the real challenge. In 1787, the Founding Fathers gathered in Philadelphia and forged America's greatest weapon, the U.S. Constitution. This wasn't just a legal document. It was a blueprint for a nation. It created a system of government designed to protect individual liberty, secure property rights, and encourage innovation and economic growth. This framework, designed to last for centuries, set the stage for everything that was to come. And what came next was a deal so good, it sounds made up. It was 1803, and France, led by Napoleon, needed cash for its wars in Europe. So, they offered to sell the United States the entire Louisiana territory. For just $15 million pennies an acre, the U.S. doubled its size overnight. This single transaction, the Louisiana Purchase, unlocked the American West and fueled a national obsession with westward expansion. As pioneers pushed across the continent in wagon trains, they encountered the native nations who had lived on these lands for thousands of years. The relentless drive for manifest destiny led to decades of conflict, treaties, and forced relocations, violently reshaping the continent and its original inhabitants. The expansion didn't stop there. In 1836, American settlers in Texas declared their independence from Mexico. After a brief period as its own republic, Texas asked to join the United States. Mexico, understandably, was not happy about this. The dispute led to the Mexican-American War. The U.S. won a decisive victory, and in the 1848 Treaty of Guadalupe Hidalgo, Mexico ceded a vast territory that includes modern-day California, Nevada, Utah, Arizona, New Mexico, and parts of Colorado and Wyoming. In a flash, America stretched from the Atlantic to the Pacific. A few years earlier, a peaceful treaty with Britain had settled the northern border, securing the Oregon Territory. Then, in 1867, came another incredible bargain. The U.S. bought Alaska from Russia for just $7.2 million. Many at the time called it a foolish waste of money, but history would prove them wrong. By the late 1800s, America wasn't just getting bigger, it was getting stronger. This was the Gilded Age. Industries like steel, oil, and railroads exploded. Immigrants from around the world poured into bustling cities, seeking opportunity. Railroads stitched the vast country together, creating a single, massive domestic market. The nation was an economic powerhouse in the making. Then came the year 1898. A dispute with Spain over Cuba boiled over into the Spanish-American War. In just a few short months, the U.S. military crushed the centuries-old Spanish Empire. As a result, America gained its own overseas territories: Puerto Rico, Guam, and the Philippines. It was no longer just a regional power. It was a global player. The final piece of the puzzle was the Panama Canal. By building and controlling this vital waterway, America cemented its dominance over global trade routes. From a forgotten collection of colonies to a continental empire and a global superpower, Through strategic expansion, a revolutionary constitution, waves of immigration, explosive industrial growth, and a bit of luck, the United States built an unprecedented level of wealth and power. Whether you admire it or criticize it, the story of its rise is undeniably one of the most extraordinary and consequential in all of human history. Thanks for watching. If you found this journey through history interesting, make sure to like and subscribe for more.